It was a quiet day in Canterlot, as quiet as a toothless alligator when its owner leaves it alone in the kitchen to bake a cake. And into my office walks a dame with a trot that wouldn't quit, 4 legs that go on forever, and a flank that wouldn't stop shaking. They say dames are trouble, but I couldn't say no to a pretty face. It was Miss Rarity for the 2nd time. I've worked with this dame before, and quite recently in fact. She invited me back to her boutique, but this time not to take pictures of the dresses, but rather to take pictures of her friend Rainbow Dash as she hung out with the Wonderbolts. Figured an evening with the Wonderbolts would be more exciting than sitting around in my office filing my papers. So I took her up on the gig. Little did I know that it would be the start of yet another one of my great adventures. We met up with Rainbow Dash at Canterlot Castle, the same room that they held the Grand Gala in not too long ago. It was the evening of the garden party, and the Wonderbolts were going to perform later. Rainbow Dash was naturally excited and went on and on about her heroes and how great they were and how much she looked up to them. How Rarity took in the aroma of a alluring cologne worn by one of the great heroes of old. I found myself a quiet corner and waited for the event to begin, partaking in a yummy plate of cookies served to me by one of the royal guards. Got up to catch up with this particular guard, as I had worked with this particular guard before and wanted to shoot the breeze for a bit. That's when I lost my cookies, some purpose up in taking them, and I was left cookieless with a mystery on my hose. What kind of lowlife would snatch unattended cookies and take them for themselves? It was time for me to investigate and get to the bottom of this mystery. Coincidentally, at the same time, Rarity and Rainbow Dash were facing a mystery of their own. It seems that some pony had lured Spitfire away from the other Wonderbolts with a fake message written in a letter, sending Spitfire off to attend her mother who was sick. When her mother showed up for real, the lie was revealed. Who would write a false letter to lure Spitfire away from the important Wonderbolt event, one may ask? The most obvious answer was some pony who stood to gain from Spitfire's absence. Some pony who desperately wanted the chance to fly with the Wonderbolts in her place. And the most obvious suspect was lined up to be Rainbow Dash. Hoofs were pointed and accusations were made, but Rainbow Dash was given a chance to prove herself innocent, and with help from Rarity as she donned the costume of a popular detective whose adventures can be read about in novels, Rarity was on the case, and the investigation began as she searched the palace for various clues. I myself went off on my own mystery, and I began by searching for Prince. I soon found him, and discussed with him my problem. I grilled him endlessly for answers to my questions, and then finally got the answer I was looking for. In the meantime, Rarity was also grilling the royal guard for answers to her questions, and through a little bit of flirting was able to get the answers she was looking for. The clues were building up, the mystery was unfolding, and one clue after the next, Rarity was piecing together the mystery of who had framed Rainbow Dash and why. Back on my end, I had discovered the cookie thief was none other than a certain particular connoisseur of cakes and bananas, our own Princess Celestia, who had taken my cookies, unknowingly to the fact that some pony had already laid claim to them and was expecting to return to finish tasting their delectable tastiness. She apologized and I let her off the hook. Who am I to argue with the princess of all of Equestria after all? Besides, it was only cookies, unlike Rainbow Dash, who had everything on the line. Her career and future as a Wonderbolt at risk of being taken away from her, all because of one little lie. A single frame job, setting her up for something that she didn't do. And now Rarity had all of the evidence that she needed. A piece of hair cut from her mane, a rope detached from a curtain, a cake given to some guards, a chocolate stain on a silk scarf, all things similar to events that had foreshadowed earlier in the evening. And who is the culprit of this crime against Rainbow Dash, you might ask? It was One Winged Rider, the hero of old, a major big shot among the Wonderbolts, a record holder who was afraid that his record would no longer be held if Rainbow Dash were allowed to remain a Wonderbolt. His dirty, sneaky maneuvers were no longer acceptable, and Spitfire is honorably discharging him from the group, removing his pin and sending him packing. At the end, Rainbow Dash got to perform with her heroes, and Rarity recapped the story to Stormy Flare, Spitfire's mother, and I took the picture of the Wonderbolts and their friends as they gathered around each other. And so, the Wonderbolts become the picture of the day. I would never get my cookies back, but it was a simple matter to run down to the baker and have them replaced. Rainbow Dash was found innocent and got to keep her place among the Wonderbolts, and her bonds with Rarity grew even stronger. That's about all for the story for now. I'm sure there are more adventures ahead. Until next time, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me today and hear me recap my latest story.